everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tom and I make videos that help you awaken your soul and manifest your dream life. It's been a while since I last uploaded a video, and that's largely due to these kind of crazy times, these strange times that we find ourselves in around the world. I don't know about you, but I'll be the first person to put up my hand and say I've been challenged like never before in many ways. Of course, there have been some other challenging times in my life, no doubt in yours too, but I think the nature of the times we're currently in is that they're so unprecedented and unfamiliar to us all that the whole atmosphere of the planet has this kind of strange flavor to it right now. So my heart goes out to you wherever you are around the world, and the purpose of this video is really to raise you up, to help you feel uplifted out of the various psychological states of suffering and heavy emotions and negative thoughts and fear that all of us kind of feel inundated with and are grappling with right now, and really to raise you up to something higher, to a higher, more simple, more clear way of perceiving life, perceiving your life. And from that vantage point, you'll be able to just kind of feel more at peace, feel more love, feel more unity, feel more hope for yourself, the way your own life is unfolding, and that too for all of humanity at large. I really want to connect you to that kind of higher perception that we all have within us, the way our higher self views life. I want to connect you with that. And it's really from that place that we are our most empowered self, aren't we? When we feel really connected, when we feel really aligned, when we feel rooted in love, in peace within ourselves, naturally the most powerful actions and viewpoints and decisions come from that place of alignment. So I want to root you in that, hopefully. And I'll be watching myself, no doubt, and trying to root myself back in it through my own advice. So I'm along this journey with you. And so really I've got 5 key things that I want to share with you that are going to help you navigate through these strange and challenging times. So let's get into them. And so the first point I want to share with you is it's okay to feel how you feel. It's okay, like really, it's okay. It's okay to feel a lot of fear right now, to feel anxiety, to feel overwhelmed. We're inundated with so much information right now, and the collective frequency and vibrational kind of state that the world is in is very intense right now. And so it's natural to kind of have that infiltrate into our system and not know really how to process and integrate that in the ways that we would like to. But really the pathway into more love, more clarity, more peace is actually to accept and embrace how you're feeling right now. What emotions are in your body? Is it fear? Is it anxiety? Is it doubt? Is it overwhelm? Embrace that, go into that, and actually accept that. Accept those feelings, accept the thoughts that are bundled up with those feelings. And actually what happens is, the moment we actually have the courage to turn within and place our awareness on that, is the same very moment that those emotions become liberated. Because our awareness is pure love. Whether we're aware of that frequency in our own awareness or not, it is the case, because awareness is consciousness. Consciousness is divine. The divine is love. So everything is actually love at the highest level of our awareness. So the moment you face yourself and just place your awareness on yourself with that love, with that compassion, with that courage, is the moment that those fragmented, struggling parts of you start to heal, they start to feel love, they start to dissolve away. And naturally that alignment just dawns. It dawns through you, it becomes all pervasive. And when you're in that aligned state, you see life like a puppy dog again. Everything's clear, everything's alive. You know what the best decisions are for you. You know how to handle the situation. And all it takes is to acknowledge how you're feeling, what fears, what doubts, what anxieties you have on your mind. Knowing that affirming them doesn't perpetuate them, but actually stops them. It stops them under the power of your loving awareness. And so go into them, and that aligns you, and you're going to be able to shoot up into a higher state and best handle whatever you're going through in your life right now. I even did this before I filmed this video, because in Melbourne, where I live, we've been in lockdown for on and off for months now, and it's been a really intense time to kind of get any sense of balance in our life over here. Everyone's kind of feeling cut off from the natural freedoms and ways they'd like to express and be in the world, because we've been in and out of lockdown, right? And So even me getting back into the flow of filming, and I've filmed dozens and maybe over 100 videos at this point, even getting into this video right now brought up old blocks that I thought I'd processed, and I have significantly, but they came up again, these doubts and fears, and I just went into them, and I just gave myself that moment to feel that way, and they just dissolved away. And I felt a natural aliveness and alignment come back, and now I'm filming this video. So it's a simple example of the power of allowing yourself to feel how you feel. Remember, it's okay. It's so normal. These times are a bit hectic, aren't they? So it's okay. The second tip I want to share with you for getting through these strange and challenging times is to connect to the big picture. If you don't know what that means, allow me to share my point of view, at least, of what the big picture is. By big picture, I mean when we zoom out of life, we zoom out of our struggles, the kind of current situation we're in, and we zoom out, we connect to something higher, something more divine and holistic about life and who we are as a soul and what we're really doing here. And when I at least am able to, through struggle sometimes, right, but when I am able to kind of elevate myself up out of the here and now happenings of my human life, what I become aware of is a more of a divine perspective, a divine energy, and I become tapped into an all-pervasive love. I become aware of the fact that my soul is an expression of a higher source, an infinite and eternal source. We could call this God, we could call this the Creator, the one infinite Creator, the source consciousness. But when you actually in your awareness are able to ascend into this, these epiphanies hit you, these epiphanies beyond the mind, and it becomes obvious that life is just a school. Earth is a school in which souls come temporarily to grow, to expand in their consciousness, in their awareness, and ultimately to become reunited with the highest truth of their being, of their essence, which for me is love. I, through much gratitude, have been blessed with many awakening experiences during this phase of lockdowns and this difficult time we've been alive, through being forced to kind of be in isolation and through struggling with such heavy emotions and processing everything that's going around the world and how my life's been impacted by that financially, in my relationships, in my social life, in every way really. And processing all that, struggling with all that, I've just somehow bounced up out of that and awakened out of that into the truth. The truth that for me is not a truth that you believe, it's a truth that you become. You become one with the truth. And I felt, as I said, I'm so blessed to be able to say this, I felt with some deep level of knowing that when you come out of the human point of view and you step back into a divine point of view, you feel only love. You see only peace. You realize that all is actually truly well, no matter how it seems, and no matter how difficult it is at a human level to appreciate that or be in touch with that when we're especially challenged by life. But just to know that that is within you, that truth is within you, that love is within you. It's something that you can allow your heart to just feel and carry you away into a higher dimension where you really feel that all will be well, and all is in fact well. So perhaps that doesn't make much sense to you, it often doesn't to me either, but there is a higher level of awareness nonetheless that you can become attuned to, and it can raise you up to the biggest picture where you know in your heart that you are okay, that nothing real can be threatened, that you are an eternal divine being, and that you shall return to this home. And this home is that eternal peace, that eternal goodness, that eternal beauty, and that eternal love. Without end, without opposite, without contrast, with no beginning, with no end. Just the singularity of that love is where all of humanity are destined to arrive in their own experience, their own actual experience, is to find themselves home in such a place. Sorry, I have to keep moving the camera around because the sun keeps shifting through the trees and blinding me a little bit, blinded by the light, which is a good thing in spirituality. So continuing on, the next point for making it through these strange and challenging times is to come back into the present. And this actually does relate to elevating yourself up to the bigger picture too. Because the way you come back into the present is really to kind of come out of the thought stream of the mind, which is kind of like, if you imagine it's kind of like clouds passing through a sky, and we're so in the layer of clouds, and when we get caught up in those clouds passing through our mind, i.e. those thoughts, again and again and again, we tend to be bombarded by all kinds of perspectives. Some of them are nice thoughts, but oftentimes when we're feeling overwhelmed, these are overwhelming negative, intense thoughts. So what meditation and yoga and spiritual practices do is that it helps you in your own consciousness raise above the level of clouds, above the level of thoughts, into a higher dimension. And in that dimension, there's less thinking and there's more being. There's more just sheer peace, because there's nothing but the here and now, but the trees, but the sunshine, but the grass, but the sound of a plane going through the sky. You're here now, and when you're here now, all of those human problems kind of dissolve away. It's like they kind of just float down a stream and out of your perspective, and you're just here, alive, one with life. And everything seems so much more manageable when you're more present. And so really, as a basic tip, what I recommend most for becoming present is to start meditating for 20 minutes every day, as early as you can into your day. And there are many meditation techniques that you can find out there, but really it's such a powerful thing, especially when you get some momentum going, because you develop this capacity to be the awareness itself that you are, the love itself that you are, and as this, elevate to any height that you choose with more ease. And there's so much more clarity in that. There's so much more alive, positive energy in these higher states, and they inform all of your actions, and your life can start basically spiraling upwards into something really positive and favorable for you, the more present and aligned you feel within yourself. So really, I recommend that as a big help for navigating through these times. The next tip is to reconnect with your life purpose, what your soul is here to do, what you feel inspired and called to express, create and give to the world in service of the divine source, for love. I find that when you are rooted in your purpose and you're putting energy into your purpose, you feel more stable within yourself, you feel more fulfillment within yourself, you feel more, I guess, kind of inspired by the life you're kind of living. And this connects you again to that bigger picture perspective. It kind of elevates you out of your personal kind of predicaments and problems. And again, you don't want to ignore them, I'm not saying that, but dedicate some of your time away from all the problems in the world and the problems that you're facing and all this kind of stuff, and move it onto, how can I impact the world? What am I here to do? How can I express my divine gifts? How can I help someone else? And this is easier said than done. I'm guilty as anyone for kind of falling off track with this. But the moment I step back on and I see my life as something that I can use to express love and to express in a way that makes my life like a prayer or like a gift of service for something higher, something more divine, is the moment that I notice everything starts shifting in a favorable way. It's kind of like Joseph Campbell with the hero on the hero's journey. When the hero follows their bliss, and it's the more courageous path, it's the rarer path, the path less trodden by many. But when you even just take one tiny step, even just in your intention to focus in a way, to focus on something outside of yourself, bigger than yourself, that is to do with your gifts and your passion and your bliss, doors start opening up for you that previously you had no idea could have been opened. It's something that just happens when you're really following this divine inspired calling and way of life. And so now is a really amazing time to actually channel your energies in this way, and that will really uplift your soul, uplift your spirit, and most powerfully channel your energy through these times. As a starting tip for finding your purpose, ask yourself, what do I want to do that brings me joy and happiness? What do I want to do that I'd still do even if I knew I wouldn't be paid for it? And when you ask yourself those kind of questions, you're pointed in the right direction. You can start following your heart and just trying things out, getting any kind of momentum in this direction is extremely fulfilling and powerful in all facets of your life. And the second tip I give you is connect to people who inspire you, people throughout history, people alive now. But any person or figure that kind of inspires you, touches your heart, whoever these people are for you, whatever life missions they led that really inspire you and really awaken your soul to something more divine and beautiful and virtuous and noble. Any of these type of figures, connecting to their life also raises you up and makes you feel more inspired to live your life in a similar way. And you'll be well on your path to building momentum in terms of living for your purpose and for your soul's mission on the earth right now. And so the last tip for making it through these strange and challenging times is to do the most obvious practical step in a spirit of trust. Write down a list of all the practical things you can do and just start doing the most obvious thing. And what happens is, whatever situation you're going through, where you're struggling, where you don't have answers, where you're overwhelmed by which direction to go, and there's a lot of emotion and all this stuff, when you just have a basic list and you just do your best and you always come out the other end, everything always kind of resolves itself. And hopefully you have a life experience in which you can kind of trust that this is always the case, especially when things seem most dire and you're most overwhelmed and it's just absolutely chaotic and you see no light to the end of the tunnel. That type of challenge in these times, financially, in your relationships, in your career, in your living situation, in something pivotal to your life, really just trusting that it will pass and just holding on and doing the most obvious thing and just kind of weathering the storm is some of the most powerful advice. If you can trust that, do the most obvious thing, you will make it through the other side and you'll see that a new chapter unfolds for you. And you'll ride that new wave into something really beautiful and positive as your future unfolds. And that's really what sometimes it comes down to at the end. We can have all this other fancy stuff. Sometimes we've just got to grit our teeth and hold on with with the best we can. And I had one of these weeks last week where every day was a struggle just to get out of bed, because I felt so much energy of doubt and fear and overwhelm being processed through me as I was being challenged in all ways in my life. Really, it was just a really hard week. And there were times where I questioned if I'd even be able to make it through because it was so intense. And yet these cycles, I've been through them many, many times, and they're always for something greater. They're always for something really favorable. There's always a contraction period before the slingshot springs you out forward into an ever greater timeline that you couldn't have imagined possible. So I did know that, and then I gritted my teeth and I did the next obvious thing, and I feel that energy lifting, and I know the case is the same for you. But anyway, these are my 5 kind of general tips for processing through these kind of challenging times. I know it was nothing specific, but I hoped these general tips kind of elevated you to a certain level where you started feeling more at peace, more at one, more at love with life, more connected to a divine perspective, and in that, hopefully, some more clarity and some more practical action steps blossom forward for you. But trust yourself, know that whatever you're going through shall pass, believe that all shall be well, and I'm sending you blessings your way. I wish you all the best wherever you are around the world. Anyway, if you like this video, please like it, leave me a comment, subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to get the free reality shift cheat sheet, which is a powerful resource guide for all lightworkers and awakening souls, all about manifestation, spirituality, and shifting into your desired reality. You can get that at the link below. Check out my one-on-one coaching offers, which is also down at the links in the description if you'd like to work with me one-on-one. And stay tuned for more videos on manifestation and spirituality soon. Thank you.